You are now watching Gravy Movies.
Episode 1, the pilot, a look at the year 2023. Hey, my name is Dominic. You can call me Dom. I'm joined by Michael. You can call him Mike. This is Gravy Movies, our latest and the last movie podcast featuring the two of us. Happy New Year, Mike. I know it's a little late to say Happy New Year, but I haven't seen you.
Larry David would be really disappointed in you now.
He'd rip me a new one for sure.
Yeah, it's way too late. You know, even at work, people were wishing me Happy New Year on like January 5th, and I was fed up with it then. Like, it was way too late. The 5th feels too late for you? I think you get like 3 days of Happy New Year. I know LD says a week, but you get like 3 days.
I think I agree with a week. Somebody said Happy New Year to me in a store, and I felt a little thrown off by it. I had to look at my phone, but it was the 7th. And I was like, all right, I guess by Larry David logic, it's still okay.
That's perhaps the very last day I think you can wish someone a Happy New Year. So I do not wish you one, actually.
All right, I don't care. It's fine. I didn't even really want to wish you one. I just wrote it into the intro for the podcast, so I had to say.
Fine.
I figured a good way to start this thing was to bring up your tweet from a couple hours ago, because I think this is gonna kind of display our differences right off the bat.
We're in a fighting mood today.
Can you read your tweet for me and the context of it?
Yes. Give me 1 second to pull it up here. It's right at the top of my mentions. Okay. So some guy on Twitter,
Bobby Wagner, producer for The Big Picture.
Yes, I'm not familiar with him, but he tweeted, "When PTA hit us with, let me roll it, straight into Life on Mars, total cinema, baby." And so that's referring to Licorice Pizza, the Paul McCartney song, and the David Bowie song, Needle Drops. And I quoted it with 3 question marks and said, "Licorice Pizza had some of the worst needle drops I've ever seen, Life on Mars being the worst of them all." And then you came at me saying, "So you don't like Life on Mars? What makes a needle drop good or bad? What the hell are you even talking about?" And let me tell you what I'm talking about.
Yeah, what are you talking about? Because I don't really understand this logic of good versus bad needle drops. Kelly was defending you as to what she thought your logic was, but I don't know. I couldn't really get behind it. What is your logic here?
A needle drop has to fit the scene just like the score would on several different levels, right? The timing of it, the song choice, the mood of the scene itself. And when I watched Licorice Pizza, it felt like PTA was just throwing songs in there left and right for the sake of saying, oh, this song is from this time era, so let's include it in my film. The Life on Mars, as a huge David Bowie fan, I eye-rolled when that started playing on the screen because it just felt so lazily thrown into the film. So that's where I stand, and I think, a lot of people, our good friend Matt Sacca being one of them, agree with me on this, and it sounds like Kelly does as well. So are you just saying, what makes a good versus bad needle drop? Are you just saying you could throw any song into any movie and it's okay as long as it's a good song?
No, you definitely can't. But I thought there was a logic behind every song choice in the movie. It's basically a memory movie. These are his memories of his childhood in the San Fernando Valley. These are the stories of somebody that he knew. The movie's based off of a famous Hollywood producer who was a child actor, Gary something. I don't think it's actually Gary Valentine. But the movie's very memory based to me. So these songs just felt very natural whenever they came on screen. I never thought about his intentions or if it felt willy nilly to me. It never did. It always felt intentional.
I thought it was horrible. I thought it was, again, like I said, the worst needle drops I've ever seen. And I'll tell you what, needle drops being, I think, very integral to a good film. And I'll give you an example of another name or another movie with a weird name, that I thought did the needle drops particularly well, and that was Glass Onion. Made fantastic usage. It made such good use out of that music in the film.
No, that's more annoying to me than anything in Licorice Pizza. It's just Rian Johnson liking Beatles songs and being like, here's a Beatles reference. Here's Ed Norton strumming Blackbird for no reason when they arrive. Like, that was just him putting songs in willy-nilly.
No, there's meaning behind all of those.
And I didn't realize Knives Out.
You could read about it. Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take these broken wings and learn to fly. The black woman dies. It's in the lyrics. Read into it. Glass Onion. It's literally the meaning of the movie.
I also didn't realize that Knives Out was a song title reference either until I was reading more about Glass Onion. I forget who made Knives Out. I think it was like REM or something like that. But I guess once I learned that, it was a little more forgivable, but it still seemed silly and didn't fit the movie. I mean, I don't even like that movie, so that's probably why I'm just shitting on it. But
yeah, I didn't like Licorice Pizza for what it's worth. So
silly boy. Okay, episode 1. We're being filmed. It's a video podcast now. It's on YouTube now.
Crazy shit. This is some 2023 shit right here.
No, this is where we need to be. Anyways, first episode, I figured why not just look at all the movies that are coming out this year? Or why don't we look at the movies we're most excited about this year in some way? Because there's a lot of movies coming out this year. A lot of them look bad. A lot of them look stupid and shitty. We left a number of those off, so you're probably going to be like, oh, where's Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania? It's not on the list. Sorry. Yeah, I don't know.
Not much Marvel on this list.
I figured we could basically just talk about like everything and anything this way. Fun, easy.
There's a lot of big names on this list. I'm very excited for 2023, the year in film.
No, I am too. What do you want to start with? Some of the TBD stuff, or just start with January?
No, let's go chronologically. You know, what we're going to be seeing here pretty soon in a couple of weeks. I'm sure we'll both be going to see some of these films. The first one up being Infinity Pool, directed by Brandon Cronenberg, which is probably, I can't imagine there's many people out there that have seen his only other film being Possessor, but I know you and I both really loved that film. People are probably much more familiar with his father, David Cronenberg, who I've only seen Crimes of the Future, believe it or not. I haven't seen
that's funny.
Other Cronenberg work, but I loved Possessor so much that I'm really excited to see Infinity Pool, even though I caught the trailer the last time I was in the theater when I went to see The Whale. And the trailer looks fucked up. And it is totally not going to be my kind of film, I don't think. But Possessor was so great that I'll go to see it just for the Cronenberg name.
Yeah, but I'm surprised Possessor is even your kind of film.
I think it was because of the sci-fi nature to it. Like, it was horror, but it was sci-fi at the same time.
You don't think this has that? It has like them cloning Alexander Skarsgård to give to the government for an execution. That's pretty, like, it's based in reality. It's like grounded, but it's still pretty science fiction-y.
This, I don't know. The trailer just seems so much nastier than, I guess, Possessor. Like, I remember Possessor, like, there being some nasty scenes, but it wasn't like exorbitantly horrific from what I recall.
No, there seems to be a lot going on. It's like high society stuff, underground, like cult group feeling at some point. Like Bonnie and Clyde almost too, with some of the shots of Mia Goth.
This film almost looks like it was shot in that underground dungeon that Tobey Maguire takes him to in Babylon, honestly.
It looks pretty gnarly. I'm excited for this one too. It just looks crazy as hell. I know you're not a huge horror guy. You're not really a big horror guy,
No, not really.
But parts of the trailer reminded me of this movie I watched during Halloween this year called Society. And basically Society is about like a rich kid who thinks his parents and all the other rich parents that his family knows are up to something, and they're all gaslighting him and saying he's crazy and making stuff up, blah 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 blah. And then at the end, they're all like aliens that have weird flesh orgies together. This kind of
Lord.
This kind of gave me a similar feeling where it was like, what are all these rich, snooty, pretentious people really up to? And it's something really fucked up. So it kind of gave me that vibe a little bit. But yeah, Infinity Pool is definitely going on the most anticipated list. What is coming out afterwards? Oh, okay. Knock at the Cabin is coming out February 3rd.
Knock at the Cabin Door.
Knock at the Cabin Door, the new M. Night Shyamalan movie. I think the book it's based on is called Knock at the Cabin at the End of the World. So it's kind of, I feel like they're omitting that from the movie title for some sort of surprise in the structure. Yeah. Like it's gonna seem like a normal cabin, like strangers that show up at the cabin movie, but in reality, it's the end of the world.
I mean, they do drop that in the trailer. I will say, like, I don't think they're hiding it necessarily. Like in the trailer, Dave Bautista's like, we're doing this to save the world type of thing. M. Night is such an interesting one for me because I feel like he either makes bangers or like total duds. There's not much in between per se.
I agree.
But like there's some of his films that I really love, like Signs being number one. What did you see Old, his most recent film?
I did not see Old. I want to see Old. I saw Glass, and Glass was pretty bad, so it kind of gave me the M. Night stink again. But
yeah.
But I should check out Old. I've heard it's fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I think people weren't too high on Old, but I enjoyed it. I liked it. We actually went as a family. It's funny, like M. Night Shyamalan is one of the very few directors where my parents sort of like intersect, where they're like, my parents will see every M. Night Shyamalan movie together. It's strange.
It probably started with The Sixth Sense or something.
Probably. But yeah, I'm excited to see Dave Bautista too. I think he's great.
I think he's good. He hasn't had a role where he's had too much to do yet.
True.
He's either
this seems like it.
But no, this seems like it'll have a lot in it. He's either like goofy, dry Drax from Guardians of the Galaxy, or he'll have like really effective singular scenes like in Blade Runner 2049. But like I thought he was pretty bad in Glass Onion, but that's just like a poorly written character.
Okay.
Come on.
You just didn't like the film.
I didn't like the film because all the characters were horribly written.
Oh, I thought the characters were great.
No, Matt,
we need to get Matt Sack.
No,
He'll
I was
kick
gonna say
ass.
He's not gonna kick my ass.
I know, but he'll verbally kick your ass.
But no, we had this conversation about that. He was saying the characters were more fleshed out and more like authentic in this movie, and I just think there's less of them. That's maybe like why he thinks that. Like, sure, there's less characters that you can track more easily, but I thought every character in the first one was way more distinct and interesting than all these like fake celebrity archetypes in this. Whatever. We're not even talking about this movie.
Okay.
We're not even talking about the movie.
All right. Well, our next movie, I haven't seen any of these, but you put it on the list.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I'll just let you talk about Magic Mike's Last Dance, which comes out February 10th.
I hope it's
right in time for Valentine's Day.
I hope it's not offensive to say that I think you would like these movies, but
no, I've heard they're like actually some of them are good.
No, they are good. There's only two of them so far: Magic Mike XXL, but they're both awesome. They're really like enjoyable movies. Steven Soderbergh obviously directed both of them. I think he wrote them too, but they just look great. They're charming. They're a lot of fun. This one is like a retired Magic Mike and Salma Hayek start like some sort of what's it called? It's not, what the hell is that kind of dance? What's that kind of club? It's like an old kind of club. It's
like a speakeasy?
No, not a speakeasy. It's like where women dance a certain way.
Like belly dancers?
No,
a cabaret?
Cabaret. It seems like a cabaret style club they open. And and they have some sort of intimate relationship and
Yeah.
a falling out and then probably getting back together at the end, who knows. But I just think these are smart, fun movies. On the surface, it's like, oh, middle-aged women just want to watch these to see hot guys strip, which is definitely part of the appeal for some people. But they're just fun, and no one's making just like original, fun, like sexy movies anymore. So that's why Magic Mike's Last Dance is totally going on my most anticipated list.
You know, maybe I will. I wonder, you think I could watch it without having seen the other two?
Probably.
Okay. We'll see. Who knows?
Oh, actually, you can't, because in the trailer for the third one, there's this whole thing where it's like, oh, there's a small character from like the first movie that he bumps into again. And they show like a flashback from the first one. I guess you could just watch the
police
trailer.
Officer, yeah.
You could just watch the trailer, but
Yeah.
maybe you do need a deep dive into the first two Magic Mike films to understand the final one.
We'll see what I can do. No promises.
Okay, this movie I'm torn on, so I'll let you start it off, and then I'll give you my my kind of dig at it.
Okay, so Cocaine Bear, directed by Elizabeth Banks, comes out February 24th. I will say this Cocaine Bear first got on my radar really for the sad news that it's like one of the last things that Ray Liotta did before passing away. And the premise of it, I think, sounds really interesting and completely outlandish. But I will say, after I saw the trailer for the first time, I was like, I don't know. The trailer did not sell me on Cocaine Bear, but the fact that Ray Liotta's in it and the premise alone, the trailers is like one of those trailers where it's like, this is either going to be great or this is going to be garbage.
I think it's a movie that wants to seem really crazy by like studio movie standards, but it's not really crazy. It's not zany. It's not as wild as it thinks it is. Ray Liotta looks awesome in it. He has a crazy look with his big hair and everything. And the dude, I've been watching The Wire, and I noticed the dude that plays Senator Clay Davis is in it. So that I was like, all right, that's cool. But my biggest issue with Cocaine Bear is the bear looks like shit. That digital fake
the bear does not look good.
Give me some gnarly, like practical big puppet bear. That would be way more effective than, because the movie kind of feels like an 80s movie to me. Like it's kind of like a high concept, but you could do it for like somewhat cheap, fucked up horror, not really horror, but just like uber bloody, like comedy movie. You know what I mean? It really seems like it was like could have been birthed in the 80s to me. But despite that, the bear looking like a shitty video game, like background animal, like takes away a lot of that fun. So I don't know. That's kind of, when I saw the trailer, I was like, oh, damn, the bear looks like shit. But that's kind of my, like, because we were watching Jingle All the Way recently, and I know that's like a Christmas movie and whatever. It's not really in the same vein, but there's these wild puppet reindeer in it that they have farting and shitting and drinking beer and stuff, and just the look of it is so like deranged and crazy. Like, put a guy in a big bear costume or whatever. Like, that's the way to do it.
Okay, so you don't want the bear to look like really high def, look good. You want it to be the other way, like.
I think it should be very distinctive. Like if this bear is high on cocaine, like they can make it look like the hairs on its back stand up. Like it just looks like a big bear that's covered in like jelly or something.
It kind of, how you're describing it kind of reminds me of when I watched, you ever heard of that Sam Elliott movie, The Man Who Killed Hitler and then Bigfoot? Yeah. This Bigfoot in that movie is like ridiculous looking.
No, it should. Yeah.
But it kind of adds to it adds to the fun of it.
Like all the best horror movies that use like practical effects and stuff, it heightens it so much.
Yeah, I will say quickly before we move on to the next film, I do want to shout out another thing that Ray Liotta worked on right before his passing. Blackbird, highly recommend.
Oh, you watched Blackbird?
Series. Yeah, it's good.
Cool. Yeah,
with him and Taron Egerton, it's solid.
It's a prison show, right?
Yeah, it's like about a serial killer.
Okay. No, I'll definitely check it out. I saw Paul Walter Hauser's in that too, and I like him a lot.
He's fantastic.
All right, I'll add it to the list.
Cool.
This is a movie I'm complicated about putting on our most anticipated list because I didn't like the last one at all. Scream 6 is coming out March 10th. It's created by Radio Silence, a couple of guys, Tyler Gillett and Matt Bettinelli-Olpin. I didn't like Scream 5. I thought it was redundant and bad and poorly. I didn't like Scream 5. But Scream 6 looks cool. I like the idea of putting that in New York City. I feel like the franchise has been waiting for like a mix-up like that. A lot of the young cast is good and returning, but Scream 5 was so underwhelming to me. That's why I'm kind of complicated about putting it on. I like Ready or Not. They made that too. But Ghostface in New York City is kind of too good to not put on the list. So I'm putting it on the list very lukewarmly.
I've only seen the first Scream, so I can't really comment, but I will say like the shots in the trailer of the Scream guy on the subway in particular, like that, I loved that. Like the chaos, the chaos so of, and that's like some
claustrophobia.
Some New York City shit. It's kind of emblematic of Borat losing the chicken on the subway.
yeah. If you can capture the chaos of Borat losing the chicken on the subway, you're going to have a great horror movie.
Yeah. Honestly, you know what would be great would be if they did like some guerrilla shoots and actually just had a guy dressed up like Scream on the subway scaring the shit out of people. That'd be great.
I'm sure they do. With all the kind of like viral secret marketing they do today, I'm sure they're going to put Ghostface on a couple of subway trains.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Dom, what's next? Actually, this next film also comes out on March 10th, so maybe you could do a double feature of Scream 6 and Inside.
Yeah, if you have AMC A-List or whatever the Regal equivalent is, you should definitely see both of these on March 10th. Inside is a movie about Willem Dafoe as like a high-level cat burglar, like a safe cracker or something, and he gets trapped inside of a safe overnight or a vault, some crazy like panic room or something, and he gets trapped there overnight and has to get out. Super simple concept, but I want to see Willem Dafoe bug out in some sort of crazy safe set piece.
Love Willem Dafoe.
Yeah, that's kind of all there is to it. I want to see Willem.
That's all there is to it.
I want to see Willem Dafoe try and crack some safes and bug out overnight.
Yeah, he's actually. I love him as a leading man too. I feel like a lot of his more famous roles are in that sort of side character space, but you know, some of his like lesser known things as a leading man, I thought have been really great. Light Sleeper. Right, I think that's Paul Schrader.
Paul Schrader movie. Yep.
That's a good movie.
Last Temptation. Last Temptation. He's in.
Yeah, he's great in that. There was some movie where he like is contracted to hunt down a Tasmanian tiger. Like,
what is
that? That was actually good. It was good.
That's an Abel Ferrara movie. I forget what the name of it is, but yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah.
All right.
Next up.
Next on the list. Okay, this movie. 65. It comes out a week later on March 17th. It's created by Scott Beck and Bryan Woods. I say created by because they wrote and directed it. So basically, this is a movie about Adam Driver in the future, traveling in space and with a small child or something. And somehow, instead of getting to his destination, he lands on Earth 65 million years in the past with dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Absolutely ridiculous premise. Again, it reminds me of something that they just do not make anymore. The reason I'm so excited for this is because those two guys, Bryan Woods and Scott Beck, they wrote the original Quiet Place script. So,
okay.
And then John Krasinski got his greasy hands all over it and butchered it and made it whatever movie he made. But
You didn't like A Quiet Place?
I like A Quiet Place enough, but I'm curious.
Okay.
I'm curious to see something just straight from the guys that wrote it without having some other guy come and, change whatever he wants to change, blah, 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 blah. So I'm excited to see them on their own.
Okay, I didn't know that. I didn't do my research. Wasn't aware of the connection to A Quiet Place.
There you go.
You're convincing me. You're convincing me maybe to see it, because I will say, I was not sold by the trailer at all.
Oh, come on. I was laughing my ass off when they revealed what 65 meant.
I was like, so... I was like, if I wanted to watch Jurassic Park, I'll just watch
No, it's not Jurassic Park, though.
I know
literally
it's not.
Buzz Lightyear fighting dinosaurs. Come on.
I know it's not Jurassic Park, but also, like, it kind of is. Like, it's a guy trying to survive from dinosaurs. Yes. Yeah, there's just been enough dinosaurs lately. And
I also really like Adam Driver, so seeing him stretch his legs and do like an original movie star movie for a minute is very cool to me.
Okay. See, I'm not...
You're not big into Adam Driver?
I'm not sold. I'm not sold. I like Adam Driver. I will say, I like Adam Driver. I think he's good.
I think he's great in everything. Even in shitty movies like Star Wars 9, he's awesome in.
Yeah, I don't know. Part of me just doesn't get the...
He's got a good face, too. Like, not enough dudes have, like, really distinct, weird faces in movies. He's one of them.
See, that's part of what it is. His face bothers me.
No, I need more weird-looking guys in my movies. I'm so sick of seeing pretty boys.
Okay. It's where we differ. Fine.
Next movie. Guy literally looks like Adam Driver. Go.
Oh, no. Don't compare Keanu Reeves and Adam Driver.
They're very similar. They have very similar.
No. Why? Because they both have long black hair?
That's all you need.
Okay.
White boys with black hair. Okay.
No. Oh, give me a break.
All right.
John Wick Chapter 4.
Yes, John Wick.
John Wick Chapter 4 comes out March 24th. I know you're a big John Wick fan. I think it's number 3, Parabellum. It's got that crazy name to it. That's your favorite one?
John Wick Chapter 3, Parabellum. The first hour of that is the best action movie of the best American action movie of the last 20-something years.
Because that was originally on your top 100 list back when we were doing that pod.
No, yeah, I was super high on that movie back then. Probably wouldn't be on the list anymore, but because after rewatching it, I was like, man, the first hour rocks, and it kind of teeters out after that. Even though it ends awesome, and I really like the lore and the overall story of John Wick, definitely hot for the first hour, and then kind of whatever after that.
Yeah, I will say I've only seen the first John Wick, and I watched it. I watched it on the plane, but I loved it. So I definitely will plan on seeing the other two on an actual television prior to this one coming out.
You should. They're all fun. They're all kind of doing different things with the action template. Like the first one is totally like, the lone man revenge movie, all alone in the world kind of thing. Doesn't care what he has to lose. Blah blah blah. But the way they like build an actual world around John Wick with like assassins being a normal job that anybody could kind of have is really cool and interesting. And they do funny stuff with it in the next two movies.
And also Willem Dafoe is in the first one.
Also,
and he's great in it.
Yeah,
he's great in it. I love how John Wick just runs around like injured constantly.
Keanu is a great injured runner. He's one of the
always
best.
has a limp.
He like holds his like ribs most of the time in these movies. He's holding his ribs from getting kicked or shot at or whatever. He just has a great run.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, next movie is probably horrible and annoying, but go ahead.
Yeah, you're gonna hate me for this one. Next Goal Wins is the next Taika Waititi movie. Comes out April 21st. It is a soccer movie, a sports movie.
Soccer.
Yeah, okay. First, I don't know. I love Taika Waititi. Thor Love and Thunder was what it was, but like his original films, I'm a big fan of like every single one, whether it's Jojo Rabbit, which I know you don't like, Hunt for the Wilder People, Boy. I think they are all What We Do in the Shadows. I think they are all wonderful, hysterical, unique. I love him. I love his style. And I love sports movies, and I love soccer. So I'm very excited to see this, even though I know you are absolutely not.
It's funny you talk about the movie, and then you don't even bring up the only part I'm remotely interested in it, and that's Michael Fassbender as the coach.
Okay.
Like, come on.
I don't care.
You don't care about Michael Fassbender?
Not particularly.
Oh, I used to love Michael Fassbender. I don't know why. Just every movie I watched with him, I dug so much. I want to see Michael Fassbender do better stuff, so I think this could be a good role for him. But I think Taika is annoying, so I think it'll be an annoying movie. That being said, what?
I was going to say, who I'm excited to see in it is Will Arnett.
Oh, he's in it?
I think he's Will Arnett's very funny to me. So I think it could be an interesting matchup with Taika Waititi.
No, I do like Will Arnett too. I think he's kind of underrated and has kind of fallen off being in bigger movies and stuff. But a lot of great comedies that I like, he's in, like Hot Rod, and he's amazing in Hot Rod. But yeah, I don't know. Not looking forward to anything Taika's really touching.
Okay.
Same day.
Next film, same day. Yeah.
Oh, whoa. We got it.
There's three of them same day.
Yeah, this will be great for any A-lister out there.
You get fucking whiplash watching these 3 films in a row.
This trailer just came out recently. It's called Evil Dead Rise, directed by Lee Cronin. It's like the first, or that's not true, because they have the remake from a few years ago. But this is like the first kind of evolution of the Evil Dead. The last one was directed by not Sam Raimi, by somebody that's slipping my mind right now. But that's just a remake of the first movie. This one, it's set outside of the woods. It's in the city. It looks like it has some sort of like family and ancestry thing going on with maybe who's holding onto the book or whatever. I don't know. Who cares what it's about, really? It just looks like a gnarly, twisted movie. It looks like it has a lot of the Evil Dead flares that you want to see. The camera ripping through the streets, going up the building, crashing through the window. They're doing that instead of crashing through trees in the woods. It just looks like a lot of fun. It looks like it has the heart of the original movie, which I love so much. So I'm definitely excited to check this one out.
Now this is going to be a dumb question because I have not seen The Evil Dead.
And it's not a dumb question.
But there's zombies, right? Like they're zombies. They're dead. They're living dead. Or are they not zombies?
It's not really zombies. They get like taken over by demons, living people.
Okay.
They read the book. Yeah. They read the book, and then the spirit comes out of the book and takes over people, and they go crazy.
Okay. Because I like zombies. Love zombie shit. World War Z. I actually like that movie. I think people think it sucks, but I actually like that shit. 28 Days.
I haven't seen World War Z since I was
since
I saw it in theaters.
Yeah,
that was supposed to be a David Fincher movie.
Really? Mm-hmm. Wow. To be fair, I saw it so long ago that maybe my young mind thought it was great, and it actually isn't. But like 28 Days Later, 20 Weeks, love that.
Oh, those
shit.
are great. Yeah.
Used to be into The Walking Dead for like the first 4 seasons.
I think it's okay for the first 4 seasons.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, but
I only watched
so they're not zombies. They're more so demonic. Maybe I'll try and watch one. We'll see how that goes.
Okay, so Evil Dead 2 is kind of a remake of Evil Dead 1.
Yeah. But I remember you saying that it's got like higher production.
They got a bigger budget and stuff.
Yeah.
They kind of refocused the story a little bit. But they're both really funny, a lot of great practical effects. If you want to see, the first one is like Sam Raimi making a movie for no money at all, living in the cabin with his crew. Like, if you like the story of filmmaking and how movies are put together, watch Evil Dead and then like listen to a couple people talk about the making of it, because it's just a great story.
Yep.
All right. Also,
I'll give it a try.
Okay. Also on April 21st, this is a big one for me. I don't know if it is for you too, but it is for me. Beau is Afraid, the new Ari Aster movie. Trailer also came out recently. Looks insane. I have no clue what it's really about. It looks like Joaquin Phoenix is a man afraid of everything and then gets kidnapped by some crazy people who probably have some other motivation that we don't know about. That could be a total red herring in the trailer, and it's not about that at all. Looks very trippy. There's a lot of like backgrounds that look like stage plays and stuff. They're doing a lot of makeup effects with him aging and stuff. I don't know. This movie just looks like a total blast, and I don't know what. Wasn't it originally
named Disappointment Boulevard?
I don't know if it was originally named that, or that was just like a title they told the press, because it's based on a short film he already made called Beau.
Beau, yeah.
So
I saw that. I saw that in his like filmography, Beau. I don't know. I kind of like Disappointment Boulevard.
It's a great title. It reminds me
It's
of
a great
like
title.
almost like a modern fucked up Citizen Kane kind of movie. That's what that reminds me of.
You know, I'm like medium on it. I wouldn't say like I'm strongly anticipating it. Just because I'm like not the biggest fan of Ari Aster. Like those films just don't really strike a nerve with me per se. But I'm very excited to see Joaquin Phoenix, who is just seemingly great in everything he does. So for that reason alone, and because I have Regal Unlimited, I'll go see it. But it's not like it wouldn't be at the top of my list for things I'm anticipating. I'm definitely going to be more excited to go see Next Goal Wins on April 21st.
You goddamn fool. All right, that's all right.
Bite me.
Here's a movie you're probably not excited about at all.
Fuck no.
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
No chance I see that.
I wasn't excited for it because Marvel, I have a very complicated relationship with Marvel as a 25-year-old white boy from Syracuse, New York. but I got really excited for the Guardians trailer or Guardians 3 movie when I saw the trailer. I think James Gunn was able to create something very singular and heartfelt in a world that needs to connect to the next thing and reference everything. I think he did a really good job of standing on his own and telling the story he wanted to tell while still working with, you know, the Marvel structure and its limitations. So I'm excited to see him wrap up the story that he started fucking goddamn 8 years ago or something. And I'm also excited to see what he does at DC. DC has had a pretty poor track record with what they're trying to build.
You're not a big fan of you didn't like Black Adam. You don't want to go see Shazam.
I didn't see Black Adam. The Shazam 1 was horrible. So no. I actually like Batman versus Superman more than most people, but that's kind of the only thing I could say on the other side of the fence. So yeah, I'm excited for Guardians 3. Sue me. What's next, Mike?
The Batman was good.
The Batman's good. Again, that's like DC just making a singular story, not worrying about anything. Here it is. This is a vision. This is a guy's vision for the Batman. Cool. Totally worked for me. Little funny with the emo Bruce Wayne and
I thought Robert Pattinson was fantastic.
No, he definitely was, but it's I can definitely poke fun at it at the same time.
As was the supporting cast: John Turturro, Colin Farrell.
Dude, I don't know if we've ever
Paul Dano.
I know you like Andy Serkis's like digital work, but he's awesome as Alfred.
He's so good in it, yeah.
Like his scene in that,
and he's also good in Andor.
All right, actually, before we move on, let's talk about Andor for a minute because I haven't been able to talk to anybody that actually saw it all. Why was it good?
I think because they took their time and the production value I thought was really strong as well. Like I just loved how everything looked and felt, but I think because they like got in the weeds and they like got into politics, and also the 3 episode arcs worked very well so that it didn't feel too stagnant at times, but it also didn't feel like it was saving everything to the end. I feel like that's part of the issue with some of the other Star Wars shows, is that it's just like a bunch of bullshit for like half of the season, and then they're just like at the very end, they're like, oh, and this is, you know, they really drop some heavy shit and then they move on. And they also interweave everything between those other series like Mandalorian and Boba Fett. Whereas like Andor, just like Rogue One, is not a story that needs to be told. It's sort of extraneous from the rest of Star Wars, but it still is woven in a way that works really well. I will say, I really enjoyed it, but I wasn't like blown away by it like some people are. I'm like, oh my god, this is the best thing I've seen all year. Like that definitely wasn't the case for me, but I did think it was great.
No, I think you hit the nail right on the head. Them just telling a grounded science fiction political thriller was the way to tackle This is what I wanted to see from the beginning. Instead of doing all the bullshit, Obi-Wan is one of the worst shows I've ever watched, period. Like, it makes no sense how he has this relationship with Leia. Like, they cram just like names and references down your throat because they think that's the only reason you'll watch something, is because, oh, you got to recognize it, you got to know what's going on. They set all these fucking shows on the same 3 planets, for God's sakes. And finally, a guy is like, actually, let me just tell a fucking story that takes place in Star Wars. Like, there's big bad guys, and then there's guys fighting them. That's it. It's stripped back. It's lean. It's mean. It really gets into the emotions of everything and like the motivations. I thought all the stuff with people that worked like for the Empire and all that shit was so well done. Like the female commander and the guy that like doesn't get enough respect, that's like really trying to like do the right thing, and hit
the dweeby guy.
Like their storylines were some of the most captivating to me, because you've never seen them dive into these nothing characters like that before. I really liked Andor, because but it pissed me off because I was like, I shouldn't have watched this, because now I gotta keep trying all the Star Wars stuff when they're literally they're, what are they, 0 or 1 for 5 or 4 at this point. Like, I
really like The Mandalorian. I will say
I like The Mandalorian.
I like The Mandalorian. I don't like how they're tying things back to The Mandalorian to like I said, interweave them, and it's like, in order to get the reference, you have to see the other show to get this. Like, when it was just The Mandalorian, in The Mandalorian being like the first thing that like they started with re-energizing this whole Star Wars phenomenon, I thought The Mandalorian was fantastic. Worried about necessarily maybe where it's heading, especially now that we've seen like the Book of Boba Fett.
So bad, but obnoxiously bad.
I'll reserve judgment for the new season of The Mandalorian and then go from there.
I think this new season is going to be really bad because of everything they've set up with like Luke Skywalker having Grogu and the Boba Fett show being like like the last 2 or 3 episodes of the fucking 6-episode Boba Fett show were all about the Mandalorian. Like, it makes no...
Yeah. I know.
Just give me... The Boba Fett show could have been so cool. Like, Boba Fett is such, like, an iconic character that has no screen time at all. Like, you could do almost anything with Boba Fett, and it would have felt, like, kind of inventive and not groundbreaking, but, like, groundbreaking for what they've established, because they've only established dog shit.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay. This podcast is about movies.
That's true, but it all goes back to Star Wars, right?
Yeah, let's move on.
Okay, what's next on the list?
All right.
Okay, this is kind of a
pumped.
2-for-1. This is a double.
I am pumped for Asteroid City, directed by Wes Anderson, coming out in June. It'll be one of those films where they do a limited release on the 16th and then a wide release a week later, which for me, living in Syracuse, I fucking hate it. Like, means everyone's going to see it before me. Enough of this bullshit. Just release everything on the fucking same day. But I will say, Wes Anderson in the last couple of years has quickly become one of my favorite working directors out there. I think like everything he touches is gold. I love his very unique, specific style and his feel. And like you said, this is a 2-for-1 because he actually has another movie coming out later this year.
Crazy.
The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar, which is still TBD at this point. It's supposed to be in the fall, so we don't have an exact date, but crazy to think he's going for a 2-for-1 in such a short time span too. You know, like same calendar year is one thing, but these films are probably going to be released only months apart. So I guess he's all in. He's working hard through the pandemic.
I mean, French Dispatch just came out. Is it 2021 that came out?
Yeah, I think maybe technically.
But that was like
French Dispatch doesn't feel that long ago.
No, that was very recent.
I want to say fall of 2021, I think. So it's probably been like 15 months ish.
I'm really curious when all these productions happen, just because all of his movies are so intricate and they just seem to be getting bigger and bigger. Like French Dispatch was one of the most visually intricate movies I've seen in a while, and it's because I know that man is doing everything practically. It probably takes so much rehearsal time, so much plan.
Those set designs.
The set design is crazy. The way he had the moving sets and the way the camera moved between sets, he's doing crazy stuff in that movie.
In each movie too has a huge cast. Like
Mega
they have
cast.
to get all of these people.
I think Henry Sugar might be animated or stop motion because it's another Roald Dahl story that he's tackling. So that's just what I assume for that one. I don't even know what Asteroid City's about, but I know he's working with like Margot Robbie this time.
Steve Carell's in
Oh,
it.
really?
I'm thrilled to see Steve Carell in a Wes Anderson movie, like beyond belief.
I'm curious how he'll be utilized in that kind of tone because he hasn't really played in like a playground like that.
No, unless
like
you,
the most
unless you,
what's the
unless
most
you consider that
what's the most
that Marlowe movie he did.
Oh yeah, that honestly I was gonna say what's the most stylistic movie Steve
Marwin.
Yeah, Marwin. Welcome to Marwin. I was gonna say what's the most stylistic movie Steve Carell has been in, and it might be that.
Probably.
I mean, Foxcatcher has great cinematography and stuff, but it doesn't have like a very distinct style, you know what I mean?
Yeah. In terms of like a visual style? Yeah. I was going to say like from a storytelling style, maybe like Big Short because Adam McKay is so specific in like the way his screenplays are, but in terms of like visually, yeah, I don't know. It's a tough one.
That'll be interesting. I didn't.
Gru, the rise of Gru.
Yeah, so an animated movie, yeah.
Boasting with style.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to both of those. It's pretty crazy to have two Wes Anderson movies in one year. The next movie, I'm very torn about. It has the worst title out of the franchise, even more so than Crystal Skull. This is Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, directed by James Mangold. What the fuck is up with this title? It's so stupid. It seems like a video game spin-off.
I was going to say, it sounds like a children's book.
It's just like, is that the first thing they came up with and they just kept with it? I don't know. It's just because it has alliteration doesn't mean it's good. It's like snappy and good.
Yeah. Although I think the premise of this one could be really interesting, right? Because like, isn't it like take place sort of in the past? Well, part past, part future.
Future for what we're used to in Indiana
present.
Jones. It's like set in the 50s or the 60s. No, I think it's the 50s.
Like, there's part of it where he's like fighting the Nazis or something.
Well,
I thought
that was a flashback because they de-aged him.
Yes, yeah. So I think
that's from Raiders. Well, Raiders of the Lost Ark is in like the 20s. Is in the late 20s.
But I think like part of the movie might be like past and part might be present / future. Like I don't know if it's necessarily a flashback or if it's
part of the
just
story.
Two different time frames. I don't know.
That'd be interesting. I like
the de-aging. I thought looked good.
It did look good,
by the way. We've come a long way from The Irishman, which the de-aging in The Irishman wasn't bad. It was more so like that Robert De Niro moved like an old guy. Like when he hucked the gun, he like threw it from his waist. He couldn't even go overhand. You know?
No, exactly.
But who knows?
But yeah, it looks fun, I guess. I like the parade set piece in the trailer. I like Phoebe Waller-Bridge. That's all I can really say. I hope it's good, but the title definitely turned me off.
Yeah. I'm always on board for Harrison Ford, so
first
Indy.
Indiana Jones without Steven Spielberg. Mangold has really big shoes to fill. I liked Crystal Skull as a little boy. That's the last time I saw it. So I am excited to rewatch these movies, and
that's the only one I haven't seen is Crystal Skull.
I liked it, but
which is isn't Cate Blanchett in that one?
Yeah, she is. She's the bad guy.
Shame on me. No. Shame on me for not seeing that. Then
she's the bad guy. I'm curious if they're going to mention Shia LaBeouf's character in Dial of Destiny. If they're going to say
Shia LaBeouf,
if they're going to say he died off screen or he's somewhere like Mutt's in jail. That was his name, Mutt.
Interesting. Okay, well, I'm gonna have to watch it. I should have.
No, for
watched
sure.
it
We'll
last year.
we should I mean, look at all the podcasts we can do this year.
Yeah.
Like we should do a Scream pod. We should do a John Wick pod. We should do an Evil Dead pod. We should do a Wes pod, Indiana Jones pod, and definitely,
All right, slow down.
definitely a
Mission Impossible pod.
fuck yeah.
Dead Reckoning Part 1 comes out July 14th. And what I'll say is this. I've only seen, I think, the first Mission Impossible. Maybe I saw the second one. I can't. No. I've seen a few. Okay, I've seen a few Mission Impossibles. Wasn't one of them directed by like John Woo?
Mission Impossible 2, which people shit on, but
Okay.
I watched this year and
Okay.
it rips.
I saw Mission Impossible 2. It was awesome. So I have a lot of catching up to do when it comes to Mission Impossibles. But I will say I have had a Tom Cruise reawakening with Top Gun Maverick, which I know you're mid.
No, it's
on.
good. It's good.
Fine.
It's good.
Okay. But and don't get me wrong, Tom Cruise is a fucking psycho, right?
Probably.
Like, Scientologist, crazy, probably not a good father, probably knows where Shelly Miscavige is, right? All of these things.
Right.
But I fucking love Tom Cruise for that man's dedication to his craft.
He loves movies.
And he's bringing the movies back. He did it with Top Gun. And I just love that a guy who's worth like $500 million just is willing to drive a motorcycle off of a cliff and parachute out of it. Like, I think it's amazing that he does his own stunts. It's amazing that he's fucking flying planes and is in the backseat of these F-18s and jumping out of helicopters. And I'm sure you've seen like the behind the scenes video. It's like 10 minutes long of the making of that cliff jump stunt that we're going to see in Dead Reckoning Part 1. I would pay the ticket just to like watch that in IMAX. Like, give me that 10 minutes and I'll just go see that, honestly. That's how I'm excited I am for it.
I like how Chris McQuarrie and Tom Cruise have kind of remolded the Mission Impossible franchise. It started as like, the spy movies with a lot of gadgets and who's who, those rubber masks, like what's really going on. And I like how they've slowly transformed that into a pure spectacle, pure stunt movie. No one cares about what Ethan Hunt is doing or what's going on anymore. We just want to see Tom Cruise hang off the side of an airplane and take off. Like that's what we're here for. They recognize that, and they totally leaned into it in the last couple movies. I think the Mission Impossible franchise has its lows, but for the most part, it's one of the more consistent modern action franchises that we have. And it's crazy that Tom Cruise has been making these movies since the 90s.
Yeah, absolutely. Pumped to see it. Pumped for Tom Cruise.
Same here.
Can't get enough of him.
I'm actually...
All right.
Yeah, go. You go.
Well, do you have anything left to say about Tom Cruise? Because I was going to transition to the next film.
No, transition to the next film.
Okay. July 21st might be the biggest day in cinema of 2023. I don't know about you, but like seems like a lot of people are going to be going in for the Barbie Oppenheimer double feature on July 21st.
What do you watch first in that double feature?
I mean, I will say I'm like way more excited for Oppenheimer than I am Barbie. Like, I'm excited to see Barbie, but like I'm not like going nuts over Barbie essentially. So I don't know, do you like start with the better film because then you could be like, "Oh, maybe I'll watch Barbie in a few days," or like do you watch I feel like I want to have my fresh eyes on Oppenheimer. I'm going Oppenheimer first.
I would go Oppenheimer first because that also seems to be the heavier of the two. So you can kind of have your palate cleanser with Barbie. If you're going to do the double feature,
I'll see Barbie the next
I
day.
totally agree with you. I think Oppenheimer is going to be such a banger, though, that you're just going to want to walk away from the theater and think about it. You don't want to watch Barbie right after, because I actually think Barbie's going to be good. So I don't want to use my deflated brain. Not that I probably need to use my brain too much on Barbie, but I want to have fresh eyes for both. Barbie looks like a lot of
100%,
fun.
I agree.
I assume it's kind of smart. I like the 2001 riff in the trailer, written by Greta Gerwig and Noah Baumbach. So yeah, I'm down for Barbie. Crazy cast. Ryan Gosling looks really funny in all the different outfits they've been putting him in. I don't think there's too much to kind of shit on unless you're just like an annoying guy that doesn't want to watch a Barbie movie. But
Yeah. Now let me ask you about Margot Robbie.
ask,
right? Because I think she is probably perfect for Barbie. Like,
yeah, totally.
She fits the bill for Barbie. But in a general sense, not specific to Barbie, but just in a general sense with Margot Robbie, what are your thoughts on her? I think she's a great actress, but like, I don't know, part of me does not get the hype.
I think she is a great actress and she's very attractive. So she has both of those things going for her. I also think she's playing the movie star thing really smart. I think I've actually had this conversation with Ben recently. Like, I don't really care about Harley Quinn or anything, but the way she balances her choices is really smart to me, and I think she's like producing the right stuff. I don't know, in terms of like modern movie star, I think she's like, if I was a young woman, she's like a great one to like strive to be. I think she does it all. Like, she's worked with Martin. Her first movie was with Martin Scorsese. Like,
Yeah.
and she's only gone up from there. Not in terms of like who she's working with necessarily, but just in terms of like what she's working on and what she's pulling from her characters. I don't know. I'm impressed with her.
Okay. Fair enough.
I like her.
Yeah. I mean, I thought she was like fine in Babylon. I wasn't like enthralled by it, but yeah, I don't know. I think like people just what throws me off a little bit is like I feel like people like tend to lose their minds over her. And I think it's probably because of the attractiveness, but people like totally just
She's
like
super hot.
they get like melted brain about fucking Margot Robbie.
That's how I feel about Sydney Sweeney, I think. I think she's a very good actress, but I think a lot of her attention is on her physical features, and
she's going to be in some rom-com with Glenn Powell. Apparently.
Hey,
I read
make more
yesterday.
rom-coms. Why not? There's not enough of.
Why not?
There's not enough.
I don't like them, but why not?
There's not enough, original ones with actual movie stars. They're all getting dumped on Netflix and catered toward children.
They're all getting, yeah, that and the Hallmark Channel.
All right. All right. All right. Oppenheimer. Yeah, it's gonna be fucking nuts. Crazy cast.
It's Christopher Nolan. You don't need a reason besides.
He's blowing up actual bombs in the desert. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me see what you filmed, Chris.
Yeah. All right. This next one, I'm excited about this.
Me
one.
too.
Challengers. Luca Guadagnino, who I love. I think he, which I've been reading. I don't know how true all of them are, but like. He seems like he's got a lot of things like in the works right now. Not many of them with release dates just yet, but every time I'm on Twitter, it feels like I see Luca Guadagnino working on this, Luca Guadagnino working on that. But coming out on August 11th is Challengers, starring Zendaya and Josh O'Connor, who I love. Josh O'Connor. Have you seen him in anything?
I don't think so.
He was in God's Own Country. He played Prince Charles on The Crown, which I haven't seen, but I know I think that's probably what.
Shit.
No, neither have I, but that's what most people would know him from.
Okay. Isn't Paul Mescal in this too?
I think so. Yeah, I think it's kind of like a love triangle thing, and they're like tennis players.
Yeah.
I played tennis. I'm love a good tennis movie. There's not many of them out there.
No, I was gonna say I'm glad it's a tennis movie. Out of all like the singular sports you could pick, tennis is a good one, or single player or whatever.
Yeah, no, I'm very excited. You're putting three very beautiful people on screen. I'm pumped for it.
When I saw Bones and All, there was a Luca Q&A after, and he talked about Challengers, and he said he's working with Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross again, and he said the soundtrack is like a dance club soundtrack, and he wants people to be like dancing through the movie. That's the vibe. He wants it to be like a club.
All right, I will go in prepared then. I will wear my disco shit.
What'd you think of Bones and All?
I liked Bones and All. What I liked about Bones and All is that it felt like a story that could be told in any medium, right? In the sense that, like, you could have taken any version of a societal outcast, and I'm not condoning cannibalism, but, like, you could take any buddy that would be seen as the other or abnormal behavior, and I think you could have fit them into that storyline. Definitely grossed me out a little bit at times, but I thought the production quality was great. I thought it had a great style to it, and the acting was good. I love Timothée Chalamet in everything, and I thought, oh shit, what's his name? Mark Rylance, Sully. Oh, Sully! I loved Sully.
No, he was
I
awesome.
Thought he was awesome.
That shot of him ass up in this tidy whities eating the body on the floor is one of the funniest things I've seen all year. I like Bones and All too. I think I
wasn't floored by
no, it was beautiful. I think I was mostly into the cinematography of the movie. And story-wise, I think it's almost like a YA novel story, and they create a really cool world with these eater people, and I wanted to explore the world a little more than the love story, I think. So that's what I kept, like, after the scene with Michael Stuhlbarg and his, like, human lover boyfriend, I thought that was such an interesting relationship. I was thinking about it, like, for the next 30 minutes while watching the movie. And that's not necessarily how to, like, engage with the movie present instead of the movie I want in my mind. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, no, I got.
But still a cool ass movie.
For
next
sure.
movie. Why don't you tee it up? Because I kind of want to bring it down.
Okay. An Untitled Quiet Place spinoff. Supposed to come out September 22nd. Seems like it's not that long from now to not have a name for it, but
weird.
Who knows? They'll come up with something.
It'll get delayed.
Yeah.
Or canceled.
Potentially. I will say, I've liked both films. I liked the first one more than the second one, but I've liked both films enough that I'll go see a third. Trying to think, how did the second one end? Like, where did we leave off? Yeah, okay. I like them. I'm not, like, super invested, but they were good.
They're fine. They're good, original, mainstream entertainment. Here's my issue. Listen to the way you just talked about those movies, and then you're like...
I didn't do it.
And then you're like, yeah, I guess I'll go see the next one. The next one is directed by Michael Sarnowski, who just made Pig. Pig is one of the best movies to come out in recent memory. And it really sucks that, like, that guy worked on Pig for such a long time. The script, he had that script forever. No one was interested. He finally got it made. The typical Hollywood story. It really sucks that now that he's got a little bit of attention, his second movie is the spin-off of A Quiet Place franchise. Like, it's just really sad to me. I would have much rather seen Michael Sarnowski make his original second movie. And the way Hollywood works now is that you take what you really want to make and you package it in recognizable IP. And I feel like that's what he's being forced to do here through A Quiet Place. That's kind of why I'm a little pessimistic about it, but I think he's really talented, and I'm sure he'll do a good job on whatever he does.
Well, maybe let's hope then this is the last one. I could see them just, like, really...
Like, why are they making a fucking spinoff? Like, how long do they want this thing to go for?
Yeah.
It's only, it's only so interesting.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, another sequel.
Another sequel, but something...
This one... I'm pumped for.
Of course.
Dune Part 2. Denis Villeneuve comes out, which I used to say his name wrong for the longest time. But
what did you say?
Dropping
Villeneuve.
Okay. In my defense, I heard another person pronounce it this way, and I thought maybe his last name was Spanish instead of French, so I was saying Villeneuve.
Oh.
Sorry. But yeah, I thought Dune Part 1 was fucking amazing. It was one of my favorite movies last year. Or was it 2 years ago?
I think that was 2021 too. Because that was one of the first things I saw.
So
after
technically
moving.
2 years ago, because now we're in 2023. But
Yeah. A year and a half ago.
Like a year ago. Yeah.
Yeah. Dune Part 1 rocked, especially in IMAX. The Hans Zimmer score, the cinematography. That's how you do, like, the first installment of a big franchise. You know what I mean? Like, there's so much singularity to it. That and the Batman coming out within the same year, like they're very different, but at the same time, like, to see like Warner Brothers doing really bold, I guess Dune is IP to a certain degree, but definitely not as recognizable as the Batman. I don't know. I just think that they're very bold approaches to what could be very safe choices.
Well, not only that, but like the only other Dune movie that was made was like a stinker.
Yeah, the failed
David
movie,
Lynch.
which is interesting if you're a Lynch fan, but for I feel like Dune fans, it's probably kind of a letdown. And then there was I don't know, Jodorowsky or Jodorowsky's film of Dune that he was like supposed to make. I don't know. That guy's a fucking weirdo, I will say. No, his book.
I saw El Topo, the psychedelic western he made. It was one of the most. It was like some of the most fucked up shit. Like one of the worst movies I've ever seen. So I just throw that out there.
I'll have to check it out.
But
that sounds cool.
You know what I'm worried about though with Dune Part
Tell
2?
me.
Austin Butler doing the fucking Elvis voice. Enough of this Elvis voice. That's not
He
how
fucked
you
his
talk.
face off. No, he fucked his face up. He was talking like Elvis for so long that the muscles in his face changed.
Okay.
And he's slowly like coming off of it, but he fucked his face up, and now he talks like Elvis forever.
Is that confirmed?
He said that.
I thought it was just
said
like
it.
really
Yeah.
okay. I thought it was just an artistic choice.
No, I think he like had to move his cheeks a certain way, and now it's stuck.
Oh my god!
Which is really funny.
I just keep seeing that like 3-second clip on Twitter of him like shoving the microphone into his mouth.
Hey Paul, get out of the way. Paul, you're gonna get eaten by that big old worm, baby.
I need to see Elvis.
Yeah, you got to see Elvis. If you haven't seen Elvis,
I haven't seen it.
Okay, yeah, super excited for
another
Dune.
Timothy.
Not excited for this.
No.
I like Timothy Chalamet. This is a stupid idea.
I love Timothy Chalamet, but this is. I feel like it's perfect for him. Don't you?
No, because he could just keep making original cool movies. Like he didn't need to do this, and it's a musical.
I know, but I think this could be a
What
lot
is it?
of
What's
fun.
the movie? What's the movie?
Wonka comes out December 15th. Wonka. Okay. But okay, maybe not the most necessary movie to make. We already have Willy Wonka, whatever, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. But I think like Timothy Chalamet just looks so perfect for it, and Wonka is
sexy
a bit of
Wonka.
like this. But Wonka's also like this zany character. I think Timothy Chalamet could have a lot of fun with Wonka. I think he could put an interesting spin on it. So I am excited for Wonka. Of all the Timothy Chalamet movies, it's not necessarily the top of my list, but I'm excited to see Wonka.
Fair enough. I guess like sexy Wonka can fill a void in a lot of people's hearts. I think it's going to be really weird and probably ill-conceived, but we'll see. I like those Paddington movies, and the same guy made that. So
I was just going to ask, what did Paul King direct?
He made those Paddington movies.
The answer is Paddington and Paddington 2. Paddington is a fucking banger.
They're good movies. They're good. They're very good family movies. I totally dug both of them.
Yeah, they're so good. Yeah, so let's, who knows? Wonka will give it a chance.
I'll give it a chance. I think I'm signing up for A-list or whatever sooner than later because I just gotta start seeing like everything. So
yeah. So that rounds out the year chronologically. The rest of the films that we're excited to see are all TBD.
They might not even come out
at this
year.
point. True. So I think most of them will. I think, but some of them might not.
Goddamn Flower Moon been on most anticipated list the last 3 years.
I know, but they're saying I don't know. They're saying it's going to come out. It's going to premiere at Cannes, which would be in May. If it doesn't come out this year, I'll fucking riot.
I don't know what they would be doing to it if it didn't come out this year.
Yeah, I don't know.
Why don't you how should we do it? Same way, just go through the list one by one, or you want to rip through it?
Let's rip through it, and if you have any commentary.
All right, I'll start.
So, Killers of the Flower Moon.
Killers of the Flower Moon. It's almost
of all of these, that would be at the top of my list for what I'm most anticipating of our TBD.
Nah, 100%. Leo.
I mean, it's Marty.
Leo.
You have to.
Back with Marty. Jesse Plemons is in the movie. Brendan Fraser is in the movie. I think it's a really interesting story. Scorsese's really perfect at handling.
I can't wait to see him do a Western. A Western.
And he's perfect for handling really delicate, like sensitive subject matter. I don't know if you've seen Silence, but I feel like this movie is going to have kind of a similar tone to Silence, just set in kind of the West. So yeah, I'm super excited for this movie. Ridley Scott is making a Napoleon movie with Joaquin Phoenix. I'm sure it's going to be a very performance-heavy movie. Jodie Comer was in the movie but dropped out, I believe. Yeah, Ridley Scott doing a big Napoleon movie. People have been talking about Napoleon movies since like Stanley Kubrick wanted to make one. Like it's kind of perfect epic material. It could be a big
Ridley Scott. He's really just churning them out,
dude. He does.
At his age,
it's impressive how fast even if
I really liked The Last Duel. I thought that was
The Last Duel rocked. I thought it was good too.
So good. It was so much better, and it got so much less hype than House of Gucci, which was so much worse.
Yeah, I didn't see House of Gucci. It looks fun, but
it
seems way too long. And
Jared Leto was so honestly, he was doing a Mario impression in that movie. He should be in the Mario movie, not Chris Pratt.
Yeah, I've seen.
Let me tell you,
I've seen clips of that. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah,
it seems like he's in a totally different movie, but.
Yeah. All right, this next one, this could be, if it comes out next year, this could be Oscar material.
Yeah, this is straight
Bradley
Oscar
Cooper.
bait. Straight Oscar bait.
This is straight Oscar bait. Maestro. Who's he play? He's Lenny Bernstein.
Lenny Bernstein, which is really interesting because of Tar, which it's not a movie about Leonard Bernstein, but I feel like his soul and his story are very much a part of Tar. So,
which, very interestingly enough, did you read the other day Todd Field basically confirmed that Lydia Tarr was never mentored by Leonard Bernstein?
Yeah. I saw him in the Q&A, and then I was watching some of the interviews he's done recently, and him saying like the opening interview of the movie is like half concocted truths, half lies, and like the truth is somewhere in the middle. So I've been thinking about all that stuff and kind of the fake idol around her. It's super interesting character work.
Mm-hmm. All right. This next one. Now, if there was an Adam Driver movie
this is going to rock.
That I'm
this
anticipating
rock.
It's this one. Ferrari.
Oh, my God.
Directed by Michael Mann.
Yeah.
Who is awesome. But for me, I'm like most excited about this film because like in the last 2 years, I've gotten super into Formula One. And I'm a big Ferrari fan. So I'm just like all in on like this idea of Ferrari. I was also a big fan of the movie Ford versus Ferrari.
Good movie.
Yeah, it was very solid, very fun. This probably a bit more serious, but I'm pumped to see what Michael Mann does with it. Apparently, he's been trying to get it made for like.
No, yeah, this is a big passion project of his. I can't wait to see some Michael Mann racing cinematography. I don't know. I'm excited for this one. There's like nothing out about it. There's no images or whatever, but just Adam Driver as Ferrari in Ferrari, directed by Michael Mann. Okay, say no more.
Yeah. Go ahead. You go ahead.
The only movie I really want to mention for the rest of the list, I'm sure there's one more you want to mention too, is The Killer by David Fincher.
I mean, that's the big one.
I mean, David Fincher hasn't made a movie like this in kind of a while, so I'm excited to see him. What I think he'll be doing some action. Michael Fassbender back in what seems like a great original movie star role. Again, just sign me up. There's nothing. It's Michael Fassbender as an assassin for David Fincher.
Every David Fincher movie is a banger. Maybe not every single one.
I haven't seen his Alien movie, but I
Like 90%.
I basically agree. Yeah.
Yeah. I will say two that I'll just quickly mention that I'm really most interested in, really just because of the people involved in making them. May December, which is a Todd Haynes film. Todd Haynes made Carol,
Love Carol.
which I fucking love. I love Cate Blanchett and Rooney
I got
Mara.
shit this Christmas because everyone's like, "Why are you putting this on? This isn't really a Christmas movie."
Oh, it's a movie. It's a Christmas movie.
It's a beautiful movie.
Yes,
it's
is.
a beautiful movie, and
It's
it takes
so
place
good.
like
It's so good.
85% in Christmas time.
Yes. So I'm excited for May December because it's starring Natalie Portman and Julianne Moore.
Nice.
So I feel like maybe some Carol vibes could be good there. And then lastly, Strange Way of Life. This is actually a short film. I think it's about half an hour long.
Is this the cowboy movie?
The cowboy movie. It's Pedro Almodovar, who I have recently watched his films in the last couple of years and really, really enjoyed.
I gotta watch. I haven't seen any.
Oh, so
I know.
good.
It's a big blind spot of mine.
Yeah, you have to watch. I'm trying to think of what I would recommend you and everybody else start with. Watch Pain and Glory. Even though that's a newer one, I feel like that's like a mainstream one enough to really hook you. And then the one he did last year, Parallel Mothers, with Penelope Cruz, was fantastic.
I've heard they're all great.
But I will say, Strange Way of Life is like his answer to Brokeback Mountain. That's what he says, and it's starring Ethan Hawke and Pedro Pascal, who I both love and I adore. So I'm very excited for that as well. Even though it's a short film, I wish it was a feature film, but what can you do?
I'm curious what that is. A lot of the times these big directors do a short film. It's like a commercial for BMW or something, and there's some like tie-in at the end or whatever. So if this is just kind of like a big budget short film, I'm really curious what the story is. 2023 is we're gonna be busy. There's a lot of movies.
Hopefully a banger of a year. You can't say until you see them, but there's a lot of promise.
The last great year we had was probably 2019. But
yeah, I will say the best year we've had in probably the last decade was 2017, in my opinion. In the last 10 years, 2017 was unreal.
Okay. Yeah, those are definitely...
Look up 2017. You'll...
All right. Those are definitely on the top of the list. Hopefully 2023 can compete. We have less than a minute of this Zoom call left, so I'm going to wrap things up.
It's like a ticking bomb, McGruber.
This is Gravy Movies. This is what it's going to be. Every episode's going to be a little different, but you'll always have me and Mike here to talk to you and tell you our shitty opinions about movies. If you want to join us, subscribe, follow, do whatever you got to do. We'll see you in a couple weeks. This is going to be a bi-weekly thing, so in a couple weeks you should have another one to waste an hour of your time with. Mike, say bye.
Adios.